Marcus Chen wiped the grease from his hands as he examined the damaged exosuit sprawled across his workshop floor. The Krillian armor was a masterpiece of alien engineering, scales that shifted from deep purple to silver depending on the light, each piece fitted with microscopic repair nanites that had somehow failed catastrophically during the last battle. "The human will fix this, yes?" Commander Zarthea stood in the doorway, her 7-foot frame casting a shadow across his tools. Without her armor, she looked almost vulnerable, if one could call a being with retractable bone spikes and eyes like molten gold vulnerable. Her natural carapace gleamed with an oily sheen, and Marcus tried not to stare at the intricate patterns that covered her shoulders and arms. "Should be able to," Marcus replied, running his scanner over the damaged chest plate. "Your nanites are fried, but I can jury-rig a patch using human tech. Won't be pretty, but it'll hold." Zarthea moved closer, her footsteps surprisingly quiet for someone her size. "The Galactic Council said humans were adequate technicians. But you repaired Captain Veltar's weapon when our best engineers declared it impossible." Marcus shrugged, already lost in the problem before him. This was what he lived for, the puzzle of making incompatible technologies work together. Human ingenuity had always been about adapting, improvising, making do with whatever was available. While other species perfected their technologies over millennia, humans threw together solutions that shouldn't work, but somehow did. Different approach, that's all, he murmured, selecting a micro-welder. "Your people designed things to last forever. We designed things to be fixed." He began working on the chest plate, his hands steady despite the alien warrior's intense gaze. The damage was extensive. Plasma burns had melted through 3 layers of the sophisticated armor, exposing the delicate neural interface beneath. Any Krillian technician would have declared it a total loss. But Marcus had spent years studying alien tech, learning how their perfect systems could be bridged with human adaptability. He carefully removed the burned components, replacing them with modified human electronics. The work required him to lean close, occasionally brushing against Zarthea as she held pieces in place. "Your species fascinates me," she said suddenly, her voice softer than usual. "In battle, humans fight with such passion. Not like us. We fight because it is duty, because we are bred for war. But humans, you fight for each other." Marcus paused in his welding, glancing up at her. "Someone's got to watch each other's backs out there." "Yes, this is what I do not understand." Her eyes fixed on his face with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. "Yesterday, when the hegemony forces broke through our lines, you came back for me. Why?" The question caught him off guard. He'd acted on instinct, seeing her armor fail as enemy fire concentrated on her position. Without thinking, he'd grabbed a portable shield generator and sprinted across the battlefield, sliding behind cover just as her damaged suit lost power completely. "You were in trouble," he said simply, returning to his work. "I am Krillian. We are expendable. The Council breeds 1,000 of us each cycle. Maybe to them." Marcus's voice carried an edge. "Not to me." Silence fell between them as he worked. The repair was delicate. Human electronics weren't designed to interface with Krillian neural networks. He had to create entirely new pathways, connections that bridged the gap between 2 very different approaches to technology. His fingers brushed against her arm as he adjusted a component, and he felt her entire body tense. Krillian's skin was warm with a texture like polished stone. He'd touched alien armor before, but this felt different somehow. "There," he said finally, stepping back. "Try moving the arm." Zarthea flexed her shoulder, and the repaired armor moved smoothly. But instead of stepping away, she moved closer, her massive frame looming over him. "Don't pretend that touch meant nothing," she said quietly. Marcus felt heat rise in his cheeks. "I was just I know your species, Marcus Chen. I have studied human customs, human emotions. That was not merely a technician's touch. He opened his mouth to protest, then closed it. She was right, and they both knew it. Somewhere during the months of fighting alongside her, something had changed. He'd started seeing past the alien features, the deadly capabilities, to something that might have been… what? Friendship? Something more? This is impossible, he said finally. We're different species. The biology alone is an obstacle, not an impossibility. She reached out with one clawed hand, surprisingly gentle as she touched his cheek. Your people bridge impossible gaps every day, in technology, in understanding, in what? In showing the galaxy that some things are worth fighting for beyond duty and survival. Marcus stared up at her, seeing something in those golden eyes he'd never noticed before. Vulnerability, hope, the same look he'd seen in human faces in the quiet moments between battles. The Council won't approve, he said weakly. The Council, Zarthea replied, values results, and you, Marcus Chen, achieve impossible results. She was right about that, too. Humans had earned their place in the galactic community not through superior firepower or ancient wisdom, but through sheer stubborn refusal to accept that something couldn't be done. They took technologies that shouldn't work together and made them not just functional, but better than the original. Maybe that principle applied to more than just machines. The armor's fixed, he said, though neither of them moved apart. Yes, she agreed. But perhaps there are other things that need creative solutions. Marcus looked up at the alien warrior who had trusted him with her life, who had seen something in humanity worth protecting, worth understanding. In her eyes, he saw the same curiosity and determination that drove him to find solutions where others saw only problems. Well, he said, managing a small smile, I do like a challenge. Outside the workshop, the war continued. But inside, two very different beings began the delicate work of building something new, something that shouldn't work, but just might change everything.